Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We're ready. We're off. We're running. It is our Friday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Happy Friday morning. We've made it into the work week. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on said Friday morning. A lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff to wrap up the week here. 256-576-4977. You can reach out to us on the phone lines throughout the 2 hours this morning. As we put the ball on the tee, we'll set it all up for you for a busy weekend of college football. Recap what was high school football last night and get you ready for another week, a week 5 of high school football. Plus recap a little NFL. We got all kinds of stuff. It's like going to the old Barn Hills buffet. And
Barn Hills.
Remember those? Remember those places? The old you can just
Britling's buffet.
Oh, you go in and just throw down with a smorgasbord of.
Well, we tried to throw down at your joint in Nashville. We just never could work it out. The one you scouted out.
Oh yeah. What was the place? Piccadilly
in the mall.
Piccadilly. Always remember Piccadilly. And there we go. That's how we get you started on a Friday. Last night over at Milton Franks Stadium, it looked like, at least in the first half, both Mae Jemison and Huntsville wanted to feast on the buffet of offense. Mae Jemison in all totaled 434 yards of offense last night. Jax McClung from Huntsville threw for 239 yards and 4 touchdowns. Huntsville able to pull away in the second half from Mae Jemison in what was a close ball game at Milton Franks Stadium at the half. Huntsville does win last night 53-25.
Yeah, they did. They dominated the second half. And the first half, Mandy and I were getting a lot of cricks on our neck because we were going back and forth each side. I mean, it was 32-25 first half. And, I mean, it took over an hour and a half. I mean, it looked like we might even be there till 11 o'clock because neither team could really make a stop. And Huntsville didn't force Mae Jemison to punt until the second half. And Mae Jemison did force a couple of Huntsville punts in the first half, but the game kind of turned on a couple of turnovers, a pick six by Ramon White, and then a scoop up on a fumble because Mae Jemison was trying to drive and retake the lead. It was, they were trailing, 24 to, it's 26 to 25. It was going back and forth so crazy. It was 26-25, and they were trying to rally and score. And to take the lead before halftime, and there was a fumble with about just under a minute to go, and Huntsville scooped it up and ran it back inside the 30, and then ended up scoring a touchdown with just about 10 seconds to go in the half, went for 2 and made it, and it ended up being a 32-25 halftime score. And then they came out second half. Got to give Coach Hancock and the defensive staff a lot of credit for Huntsville. They figured out the Wildcat formation in that running game for Mae Jemison that was so potent. I think they had 300 yards, most of it on the ground in the first half, and Huntsville was able to bottle up that running game and then just control the clock with their own. Marlon Jones had a big second half running the ball, and Jax McClung had a couple more touchdown passes, including a really pretty 30-yarder to Ashton Caldwell in the back of the end zone, and Huntsville was able to pull away and win it 53-25.
You're right. Mae Jemison had 300 yards of offense in the first half, finished with 434. So Huntsville only limits them to 134 yards of offense in the second half.
Yeah, Huntsville went on, counting the end of that half where they scooped up the fumble and then took it in and scored. that they went on a 28-0 run to end the game, and so they were able to pull away and get that big win and go to 2-3. Mae Jemison, falling to 2-4. Both of them still have a lot of region play left to go, but it was a big win for Huntsville because they needed to get back on track, and certainly their best half of football, complimentary-wise. And Sims Bowman did a great job in the kicking game. He had a 30-yard field goal, also kicked off well and did a good job punting. And like I say, even though Mae Jemison had the best drive of the game, Sims pinned them back at the 1. But to tell you how well they were executing in the first half, Mae Jemison went 99 yards. And so they converted a 3rd and 8 to get out of the hole. So it was a good football game. Both teams did some good things, but Huntsville just was able to throw and catch and have balance to go along with the Marlon Jones running game, and so they were able to pull away in the second half and get a nice win in what is becoming more and more rare in that city matchups because they're not in the same region.
All right, looking ahead, Huntsville's going to host Albertville next Thursday.
Right.
And I believe that'll be another 97.7 ESPN The Zone game of the week. Mm-hmm. And then Mae Jemison will host Buckhorn a week from tonight in what will be a big-time region showdown.
For playoff positioning there.
Yep, between Mae Jemison and Buckhorn. All right, NFL football real fast from last night. There was a game, and Detroit, dominant first half, shuts down Green Bay, 34-20. Packers finished the first half with just 21 total yards. They were booed off the field by the home crowd. The Lions racked up 284 yards of offense en route to a 27-3 lead. Lions running back David Montgomery, he was listed as questionable heading into the game. He was not questionable throughout the game. Put up 121 yards, 3 touchdowns, 32 carries, 20 receiving yards. Jordan Love was 23 of 36 for 246 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He also ran for 1, but it was more of a roller coaster ride for Jordan Love. He was sacked 5 times when pressured last night. He was just 2 of 8 when being pressured. So a lot of QB questions there in Green Bay. So that's a little NFL recap for you. I know you missed that one because you were busy doing the Huntsville game. Let's go out to the phone lines. Wolverine Dan with us this morning. Good morning, sir.
There was nothing little about that game, my friend. What do you think?
Didn't see it. Didn't he? I didn't even realize.
Oh, my God.
Didn't even realize. I knew there was a game, but I didn't know who was playing until this morning. I was busy with the high. I was busy just looking ahead for today for high school. But yeah. It is a huge win, though. Huge win for Green Bay.
True, that's
Detroit. My bad. I'm all over the place. Yes, big win for Detroit last night, especially going into Lambeau, where, by the way, there was more Detroit fans in the stands in Lambeau than what I've ever seen for a visiting team in Green Bay.
Well, fellas, now here's what the deal is, okay? Being that I've been a Lions fan for all these years on this earth, this is what it's like. These are hungry, starving professional football fans that love their team, that have to live with this misery for a long time. The ship has turned. 4 in a row, Drew. The only sad thing about last night is Branch. That's concerning me. I hope it isn't. I thought maybe he came back in the game.
Yeah, he did. He had 7 tackles, lead the way.
And you know what? He's a tough guy because his foot was all tore up, and he made that last tackle before he went out, and it was a serious tackle. So that he's a player. He is a player. What I'm concerned with, Drew, and I don't know because you know a lot about everything when it comes to sports, especially football. I'm not sure what his prognosis is right now. I guess maybe it's too early to tell.
Well, you just better hope it's not a high ankle sprain because that could linger. If it's more of a mild one, he could be back quickly. But it was a good sign that he was able to come back in, Dan. Because if he'd missed the rest of the football game, then it would be a bigger issue, I think.
Now the Montgomery, our running back. Can you, they interview him after the game, and the guy's stout. I mean, he's just a big dude, but he's just solid. But what a trade or what a get, I should say, from Chicago. He played for Chicago. the Bears, and I guess he wasn't doing that well. We picked him up, and look at him now. Wow. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that, getting a player from another team and that was supposedly washed up but isn't. But, you know, guy, look, I am so excited because, I mean, I'm about a half an hour away from getting on a plane to go to Lincoln, Nebraska. So, you know, I'm exhausted from the Alaska trip. And now I'm back on a plane again. And, you know, I don't envy anybody that's a salesperson that has to go on planes.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, fellas, it sucks to be on a plane, like, every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
but anyway, I will say I'm excited to go to Lincoln. I hear they're really nice people. It's a great town. I'm really going to enjoy myself and what you guys say. So I'm looking forward to the nice people and everything in Lincoln.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Hey, no, and to think about it, man, Detroit's just going to get better because they don't have Jamison Williams right now. When they get him back, and they get J-Mo back, it's going to be tough.
Well, it's going to be scary, yeah, because he's one heck of a wide receiver. Although we've got a pretty good core of wide receivers right now, and Golf is playing really well, even though people think he was washed up, but obviously not. He threw that first interception. He threw a lot. He threw the first interception, then it shows some chutzpah that he said, you know what? Okay, I'm a pro. I've been in the league in a while. I got to a playoff with L.A. I can do this, and sure enough, he sucked it up, went out there and played a really good game. But listen, guys, it's so great. Now I know what it feels like to have a pro team that really does well. And the last time he did well, I wasn't even born, and that was like 1954 or 57. So
Norm Van Brocklin.
I know. Night Train Lane, I get it.
Love Night Train. Love some Night Train.
Yeah, but, you know, fellas, it's really good. And I apologize if I sound boastful because
you should.
I haven't had a chance to do this in a long time.
There you go.
Congrats.
Feel it. Yep, congrats.
Hey, I thought Green Bay had a good chance to win. I mean, they were at home, but, I mean, obviously they had some issues. And I got that hiccup that Detroit had at home against the Seahawks. They've gotten past it. Dan Campbell's done a great job. They've done a great job drafting. When you draft Alabama guys, you're going to win, period, end of story, and that's what they've decided to do.
All right, you're right. See you later.
All right, thanks, Wolverine Dan. All right, let's Mark from Huntsville with us. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, morning, guys. Always enjoy the show. I'm going to ask you, Drew, on something here about scheduling. You know, everyone has kind of cut down the Georgia schedule, but I wonder if Kirby may not have the right form. What I'm going to do a Lee Corsko here. Not so fast, my friend. He doesn't have a loss right now. Alabama does. And so I just wonder, as the playoffs start the next year, if you're better off to avoid the potential of an early loss, because really it doesn't help you. I mean, the fans like it, but if you want to win a championship, Kirby may have the better formula.
Well, if you're talking 12-team playoff, one loss, Alabama, you're going to get in with one loss, whether it be early.
It's going to help your schedule strength. Yeah. It's not going to hurt you. And you better play a challenging out-of-conference schedule. You want to sell tickets and get people in the stands. Otherwise, they're just going to stream it and stay their butt home. So, with all the way with what everything's costing, you better make it worth their while to come watch.
And let's keep in mind, Georgia would have played Oklahoma this year.
Yeah, they would have because of them.
They had Oklahoma on the schedule, but the SEC made them drop Oklahoma from the schedule.
The Alabama-Texas didn't drop because it was wrapping up this year,
right?
And so, and then they're coming into the league the next. So that's why Alabama and Texas were able to play. And to be honest with you, if, and this is a huge if Alabama can keep winning, it will help Alabama if Texas does, because Texas right now is a top 3 team in the country, and it wasn't a blowout loss. I mean, they lost by 10, but it was very competitive. And so, but if that's up to Alabama's going to have to hold up that end of the deal, and Texas is going to have to keep winning. They're going to have to win the Big 12. They're going to have to realize they have to show up against the Iowa States and the Kansases of the world. This is not basketball, and they have to play it. And so, and then Alabama has got to get better and go on the road, take care of Mississippi State, go on the road and put Dirt Neck into the unemployment line, and then just keep
chugging along. Yeah. But with a 12-team playoff, Mark, next year, one loss early is not going to hurt you. No. Not at all.
No. Not in the SEC especially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like playing big teams, but I just wonder
And Georgia's playing Clemson next year, by the way. First game. So.
Wow. Well, I guess I like the idea. Maybe there's so many teams out there now. That you just wonder if you can kind of have a preseason. But Coach Saban's always played the big ones. This is his first time he's lost one since he's been here, and it's not a bad record. What is he? 14-1 in big games early in the year.
Yeah, I mean you're going to get teams. I mean, look at Notre Dame, Ohio State. I mean, they played early this year. You look at some of these other big games, you're going to see a lot more of those because, one, I mean, you're going to want to, you want to see where your team's at, but two, when you get into the 12-team playoff, that game with Alabama and Texas, they're going to look at the strength of schedule and say, okay, Alabama, you get in as one of the 12 teams. Even though you didn't win the SEC, we're still going to take you because your strength of schedule. With 12 teams, it's going to be more wide open.
There's no question about that. I mean, even 2 losses in a 12-team playoff is not going to cripple you.
Right.
Like, last year, Alabama would have been in a 12-team playoff, and there would have been people just, pissing down their leg.
All right, I'll tell you what, 7:15, let's get a break in. And speaking of the playoffs, we have not checked in on the Colley Matrix poll this year.
Oh, Lord.
It's always fun.
What is?
It is fun just to see how the computer
see how the system works.
Yep, how the system would have worked under the BCS.
Because one time wasn't Cincinnati number one.
Yeah. All right, let's get a break in. Brandon, we'll also get to your phone call as well. More Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a trooper on the scene of that wreck now. Indian Creek south of Plummer Road had a utility pole, and it may take them a few minutes to get clear on that one. That one was an injury type. We had a wreck paged out 565 eastbound about Mooresville Road. That's exit 2. Tractor trailer off in the woods there, but it sounds like fire and rescue's already checked that one and nobody's in it. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Slow down or move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at BobWallaceAppliance.com.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Gunner's Landing is one of the Tennessee Valley's finest golf experiences. Just 35 minutes from downtown Huntsville, Gunner's Landing's 18-hole championship jewel is open to the public 7 days a week. Located in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, Gunner's Landing offers you a golf experience like no other. With beautiful Lake Gunnersville views throughout the round, Gunner's Landing is golf the way nature intended. Gunner's Landing's club repair shop offers a full range of services, including re-gripping and adjusting the lofts and lies of your clubs, even putters. Since the work is done in-house, your clubs will be returned to you in a timely manner. Unmatched in the North Alabama area, it is Gunner's Landing. Schedule your tee time today at gunnerslanding.com. That's gunnerslanding.com.
Work injuries happen in Alabama all the time, whether it's an accident at work, getting injured, lifting heavy objects, hurting your hands on a machine, or just performing the same movement over and over until your body breaks down. But when it happens, there's only one law firm to call in Alabama. That's Pond, Lehocky, Giordano. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
The representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Before we delve into the West Collie Matrix poll, let's head out to the phone lines. Brandon with us this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning.
Hey, you got to see a good game last night on ESPN. See, that was another reason why, we were following cursorily what was going on from afar with the NFL. But on ESPN last night, you had Thompson and Clay Chalkville, and that might be the two best teams in the state of Alabama, regardless of class. I mean, Thompson's 7A, but Clay Chalkville's in 6A, and Clay Chalkville wins 36-33.
Alabama commit.
Jalen Mbakwe
had, 5 touchdowns last night?
5 touchdowns rushing, threw for 100 yards, rushed for 168. He's probably the best player in the state of Alabama because he's not even playing his natural position. He's a wide receiver and a DB, Scott, but he's playing quarterback this year because that's what Clay needed. And they've got Drew Gilmer and them got a ton of talent. And anytime you go to Thompson and win, it's a big deal.
They were playing, and Chalkville was up. And then Thompson scores.
Yeah.
And they get the ball back on the onside kick, got 30-something seconds. They get down there and get to, I guess, about the 30, and they have a chance to kick a field goal to tie it with 3 seconds left, and the sucker goes wide left.
Mm-hmm.
It had plenty of leg on it. It went wide left, I guess, about 2.5 feet. That was a really good ball game. It was way better than any NFL game it was on last night. And that Zimbabwe kid, he knows how to find a hole and run through it, even if it's really small. He would tuck that ball and take off, but he would throw the ball, and his throws were on time, and they were on target. He's a very, very just gifted athlete in a lot of areas, and I wanted to watch that game to see what he was going to do. Very poised. He knew how to talk to his team. He knew how to lead them. You could tell really quickly that he was in charge on that field out there. And he told them, he's like, I'll play quarterback on one series and then run out here on defense and play corner on the other one. He's like, I can play both ways all night. That's the kind of guy you want on your football team, the can-do attitude. Really, really enjoyed watching that football game last night. A lot of talent on both sides of the ball last night. It's crazy that Thompson had the ability to come back and tie that game, and it would have gone to overtime on ESPN. I really wished it would have, because I was up for about another hour. We're getting ready to pour the concrete for this pool house today. You know, we're getting our pool house finished just in time for winter. Thank the wife for that one. But that's some good football, and they need to have more of those games on Thursday night. Yeah. Do y'all have any local broadcasting like CW69, or does any of y'all's games like that?
No, there's a state network that does some games.
They do the NFHS and the state network, WOTM, and then
they usually do more of.
And we do
Southern
ETV
games.
like local stuff.
Yeah, but we don't.
We do local broadcasts on local public television for the Huntsville City Schools, but that's for our area. That's
right.
it,
Yeah, you're not getting that outside of Huntsville.
Yeah, and if you want the WOTM game in this area, you gotta subscribe to the NFHS network.
Basically, you gotta stand on your head, point in the right direction.
Not if you subscribe. Now, if you subscribe, you can watch it.
See, down there in the South Alabama, it's free. I mean, you can just turn it on your cable.
Well, because they get it's part of their cable. Yeah,
here it's not part of the cable.
Here it's not part of the cable,
you don't even get to watch it.
You have to. But I'm one of the faithful subscribers because I love the AHSAA. You know.
Well, and
sarcastic.
No, I support them.
He supports putting their face in the toilet.
He supports it because he gets a credential.
Well, you do what you got to do.
Oh.
I mean, you don't always agree with them and everything that they do, but I mean, I love high school athletics.
Yes,
and most of the time their hearts are like, I will credit them with what they did, giving that win back to Tuscaloosa County over those gift cards.
But then they also took one away from.
But I didn't agree with the Adam Mosley thing where he was.
Well, there was another one this past week that they took a a game away that was, it's too long to explain, but yeah, from another team for another reason. But anyway.
Go ahead,
I
man.
was going to let y'all know, Guy Fieri, Diners.
Yes.
Love the guy.
They're going to be doing a special in Daphne and Mobile.
Yeah, I heard about
down
that.
there in a couple of restaurants.
Yeah, man.
All right,
because Robert Irvine came up here one time.
He did, up in Meridianville.
Yeah, that's the closest they've gone. I wish Guy would come down in Birmingham or
he needs to come to Huntsville. I'm sure there's a couple places he could do here.
Man, I wish. I'd love to meet Guy. He's a great. That's the reason I watch Food Network.
It is.
And I'm fat.
All right, Brandon. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
See ya.
I'm just trying to think of where. I mean, what places could he do a Diners Drive-In? What a Triple D? Where could he do it from?
I mean, there's off
the top of my head. I mean, Dot's Dairy Den in New Hope.
I don't know. He could go have a great. He could go to the Big Chief. You could help him find the Big Chief.
Yeah.
I mean, what about the Peppered Pig?
Big Spring Cafe.
The Peppered Pig is new.
There you go.
You know,
we're just
homemade buns, man.
Oh, see, back in the day, he could have gone to Aunt Eunice's. Remember Aunt Eunice's Country Ham and Biscuits?
I don't.
Oh man. All right, so Collie Matrix has his poll out, and we haven't touched on it. We haven't gotten a chance to visit with it because really, it doesn't matter after the first couple weeks. But back in the day when we had the BCS, you had the human voters and you had the computer polls that were all part of the BCS formula. Well, Wes Collie is still over at UAH, and the Collie Matrix poll was part of the BCS computer systems. And Collie Matrix, he puts his poll out still each and every week. Texas is the #1 team in the Wes Collie Matrix poll, followed by Penn State. So if this was the final BCS rankings, it would be Texas and Penn State in the national championship game. #3 is Michigan. #4 is an SEC team.
Yeah.
It's not Georgia.
Oh, Lord.
It's Missouri.
Wow. Well, I think they'll certainly win this weekend, but then we'll get their oil checked because they're going to host LSU. Because they'll be 5-0, And watch me jinx them, they lose to Vanderbilt. But, I mean, they should get the job done there.
They can't lose to Vanderbilt.
Come on.
Washington is #5. Miami, Florida is #6.
Yeah.
And then you got
you go from losing to Middle Tennessee last year to being #6.
Yeah. And then you got Florida State at #12. Yeah, they're all the way down to #12.
What's LSU ranked?
LSU? Oh, whoa.
You're saying whoa, so you can continue. This is like the Price is Right.
42nd.
42nd?
42nd in the Wes Collie Matrix poll.
Presented to you by Wild Turkey.
Oh, it gets better. Texas A&M is 19. Alabama is 20.
What is Texas?
I told you Texas is #1.
Well, hell, I was not paying attention at the time because
Thanks for that.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. It just threw me when you started bringing up Missouri and all this other stuff. I mean, I should have been listening to who's #1, but I was more concerned with the SEC teams and where they were ranked, and and I was thinking about Peppered Pig. I mean, we're getting votes for Lawlers. We're getting votes for Bubby's, our great sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
For him to go see that.
Go to Bubby's.
Yeah.
No, Metro.
Well, see, you can't do that now because it's a chain now. But when it was original, that's when Guy went to see them, and now they became a chain.
Yeah, that is true.
Because if you go into any Metro diner, you'll find the picture.
Yeah,
Guy
they were there.
Yeah.
They were there in the original.
Yeah. Now and then it got chained, kind of like Dreamland,
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some other places around here that he could go to. I mean,
remember, it's always originals,
Yeah, it's locally owned original places that they could go to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Georgia, by the way, is 21st.
Yeah.
Alabama is 20.
21st?
Yeah. So teams that are ahead of Alabama and Georgia: Syracuse, Duke, Kansas, Louisville, Oregon, Florida State, Utah, North Carolina, Washington State. Those are all teams ahead of Alabama and Georgia in the poll. By the way, Alabama is only 3 spots ahead of James Madison and Georgia State and Liberty. So that is what the computers think of Alabama and Georgia right now. They don't think too highly of either. Georgia's undefeated, and they're 21st. Alabama has 1 loss, and they're 20th.
Georgia has played a weak schedule up to this point.
And that is why it's that way.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. The Colley Matrix poll. The last team rated is Buffalo at 146. UAB is down to 124th on the list. There you go. All right, 256-576-4977. Let's get a break in, and we will talk more high school football. Do we know who's...
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We are going to be talking to a couple guys today. Of course, we're going to talk at 8:30 with our Sports Med sponsored segment with Bob Gotze.
Okay,
they will be hosting Madison County, and then we're going to talk at 8 to Brian Haydad, who covers Mississippi State. Because Alabama's traveling to Stark Vegas, and we know David Lloyd and Randolph are off this week.
Yeah,
and that was one of the many reasons we were doing the Mae Jemison Huntsville game as the Huntsville City Schools game of the week and our 97.7 The Zone game of the week last night.
I'll tell you what, when we come back, let's hear from Nick Saban.
Right.
He was on the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
And he was on his own coach's show here on 97.7 The Zone.
Interesting comments yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. And I've got a stat for you for the Alabama-Mississippi State game that some of you may know, some of you may not. We'll fill you in when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. It is going to be a warm Friday across all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures have no problem climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning. It is going to be unbelievably warm when you consider the fact that we are into the final days of September, but it is still going to be a beautiful weekend. A mostly sunny sky. Temperatures once again have no problems climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s, dropping into the mid 60s overnight. Much the same for your Sunday. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures hanging out in the low 90s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At one wreck working Indian Creek south of Plummer Road, had a vehicle hit a utility pole there. That one did have an injury. They've called for a wrecker, so it may be a few more minutes before that one's clear. Had a wreck reported eastbound on 565 near exit 2. That's Mooresville Road. Tractor trailer in the woods there. That's an old accident. It's already been checked. Want to be the best you can be? QFit, sports performance training and fitness can help. It's not group training. It's intense one-on-one training. QFit Relentless, 256-497-9075. Captain Eck in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Installation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Do you want your next party to be something you'll remember? Then head on down to Flosa Premier to book your next big bash. Birthday? Corporate meeting? Maybe just a family reunion so you can get your cousin Kyle back into the basketball court so you can beat him at basketball. I have no idea. Flow is fun for all ages looking for high-flying excitement, arcade fun, and tasty snacks to satisfy your hunger. Whether you have 10 friends or 25, Flow is jam-packed with something fun for everyone. Get jumping with Flow off South Parkway in Drake or head over to flowhuntsville.com to book your next party now.
Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, accessory, and gifts. Alumni Hall has the newest products from Nike, Under Armour, Yeti, New Era, Champion, Columbia, Southern Tide, Peter Millar, and more. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in the Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where fans shop. Look the part. Go to Alumni Hall.
Each week, check out our latest zone deal online at 977ESPN.com.
I'm eating good food.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Friday morning with you. We're going to usher you into a busy weekend of college football.
And now we're getting a lot of requests, Scott.
Yep. So
restaurant thing,
Guy Fieri's Diner, Dives, and Drives.
It's diners, drive-ins, and dives.
The Triple D.
So it's been going on since 2007.
I do watch it, though, by the way, because it makes me hungry every time I watch it.
I really, it's hard for me to fathom because I guess they count seasons. They have a season in the fall and a season in the spring.
Yeah.
This is like the 38th friggin' season of it.
So when we travel, we usually look up, because you can look up online
they
of everywhere he's been.
Yeah.
We usually try to find spots and restaurants
that
he has been.
He found one in Tupelo.
We did it in D.C. I've done it in D.C. I've done it out in L.A., Arizona, everywhere we travel.
It was barbecue, too.
I've done it. Indianapolis when I'm up there. And so they're great places. And usually when you go into these restaurants, they'll highlight the stuff that he has made or that they've made for him so you can try it. G's Country Kitchen on Oakwood. We got to vote for G's Country Kitchen. You need to go there, I'm telling you.
Posting, tweeting, whatever the hell it's called.
Xing?
Wow. Oh, Lord,
Xing?
I guess. Xing marks the spot. What in the hell is that? That's right.
It's re-Xing. Let's just re-exit.
We can call it Eloning or Musking or something. I don't know. He's changed everything.
Nick Saban was part of, and he is every Thursday.
Yeah.
He's on the Pat McAfee show, and he talks a lot. He kind of opens up a little bit on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know why, but he does. He seems a little relaxed. He's very relaxed on the Pat McAfee show. He did talk about Jalen Milroe, and he talked about his performance against Ole Miss. Here's the coach.
And then Jalen Milroe, I think he learned some things. We all learned some things. By playing other quarterbacks, we learned what they could do. We could make a good evaluation of what's the best way for our team to move forward relative to who plays quarterback. And Jalen understood that, exactly what we were doing. He responded the right way to it. And it was obvious that he's the best guy for us to be able to move forward as a team. And we have to do things that he can do because he's a great athlete. He's a good passer. But we have to do things that he can do in his growth and development so that he can be successful. And that's what I learned about him last week. And one of the things that he had to overcome, and he did in last week's game, is when he threw an interception against Texas, the first one that he threw, it affected him in the game. And when he threw the interception last week against Ole Miss, down in the red zone, it didn't affect him in the game. And that's one of the things that we've been trying to sort of instill in him is, you can't be affected. When you play quarterback, you're going to make a lot of good plays and you're going to make some not so good plays sometimes, but you always got to play the next play and you got to refocus and you don't have to press. It's almost like, and I've said this before, the quarterback's got to have a point guard sort of mentality. You don't have to score 35 points in a game to be a great point guard. If you get 13 assists, you play good defense, you don't turn the ball over, then you played a good game because you distributed the ball to the right guys and they're able to score, and you don't turn it over. So that's what we need to do. We don't have to be the shooting guard and be a hero and score 35 points in a game. Don't play defense. Take chances that you don't need to be taking bad shots, being a hero because you want to score 35 points in the game. But you don't do anything else to help your team. And everybody else is standing around while you're dribbling the ball around trying to figure out how I'm going to get a shot. All right, so that's a part of the process to me of growing and developing as a quarterback. You distribute the ball to somebody every play. So no different than a point guard in basketball. So the more we can get that accomplished, and guys that are great athletes sometimes think, I got to make the play. I got to make the play. No, you don't have to make the play. You got to distribute the ball so that everybody can make plays, and you're going to have plenty of opportunity to make plays.
In other words, don't be James Harden. He's telling you don't be James Harden, everybody. Don't be a loser that never wins anything and has to be traded every other year because you think they're the problem and not you. That is our moral to the story of the Friday show.
Don't be James Harden.
Right. Score a lot of hollow points, never win anything, couldn't guard a lamppost.
Well, so
dominate the ball like a black hole.
So if Jalen Milroe was sitting right here, right in the middle, you would tell him, don't be James Harden.
Right. We've got to distribute the rock, man. That's what we got. You got to get it to the playmakers. You got to distribute the ball. You got to be Chris Paul. You got to be a point guard.
As soon as he grew the beard and left Arizona State, it was over.
Well, no, I mean, Chris Paul's never won a championship, but he's had some bad luck.
Right,
but,
right.
I mean, I'm just saying, you got to be a point guard. You got to distribute the ball. No question about it.
So one of the things that we were talking about, and everybody was talking about leading into the Ole Miss game, was that Alabama was, this was Ole Miss's weekend. This was going to be the time that Lane Kiffin comes in and wins the game. There was just a lot of noise outside of college football. And McAfee asked Coach if that kind of motivates him a little bit. Does he hear this noise? Does he hear everything?
Noise out. This past weekend in college football, the outside noise was the discussion. I don't know if you got a chance to hear about this. Ryan Day called out 86-year-old Lou Holtz immediately after the game because Lou Holtz on our show, talking to an impersonator of Lou Holtz at this exact time, said that the Ohio State team has been out-toughed by Alabama, in Georgia, in Michigan. And Ryan Day heard that Lou Holtz said that they were out-toughed and they weren't a tough team. And his first thing was, I hope Lou Holtz saw this. It's Ohio versus the world. Then the Washington State coach got mad at Lee Corso, 88 years old, for saying that their team, nobody wants to watch us, which wasn't what Coach Corso said. But, it feels like coaches, since the beginning of time, have been using outside noise as motivators. You say you try to keep it all outside. Is there ever a moment or time where it's right to bring it in? Because obviously both those teams got big-time wins, but is there a time to utilize outside noise to motivate the team, and how do you go about doing that, Coach?
I think ideally you'd like for everything to be intrinsic, all of us, like our motivation comes within us because of what we want to accomplish and what we want to do. But in the reality of the world, especially with young people today, because everybody kind of grows up getting a lot of positive self-gratification or negative self-gratification from what somebody else thinks, whether it's Twitter, some internet device, whatever it is, ESPN, what people say about you. So to ignore the fact that people are affected by external factors, I think is not smart in this day and age. And I think you do have to use those things sometimes as A, rat poison when it's good, but B, sometimes as a motivating factor when you're getting dogged a little bit out there for, something that you're not doing correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was some good stuff there. Multitude of stuff. Coach talked about halftime adjustments, how good of a staff you have to make halftime adjustments and what they go through in doing halftime adjustments. There's some good stuff. He opened up quite a bit yesterday, it has been on the Pat McAfee show.
They had to make some adjustments offensively because the first half, the red zone execution was about as good as James Harden's defense. It wasn't very good.
All right, so I told you before we get a break, I had a stat going into the Mississippi State game, right?
Yeah.
All right, when's the last time Mississippi State has thrown a touchdown pass against Alabama?
Lord, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Or two.
Or three.
Bailey, do you want to take a shot? You have any clue? Huh?
I'd say a decade plus.
2014.
Almost a decade.
That is the last time Mississippi State has thrown a touchdown pass against Alabama.
Dak was still there, right?
Dak Prescott was the quarterback. Threw a touchdown pass to Jamion Lewis in the final seconds of the 2014 game. They've gone 32 quarters without throwing a touchdown pass against Alabama.
They better cover Tulu Griffin. We're going to talk with Brian Haydad about that in a few minutes, but they better cover Tulu because my man had 7 catches for 256 yards and a touchdown last week. I mean, it was a friggin' school record performance. Tulu was everywhere.
32 quarters without a touchdown pass. Let's get a break in. Phone calls next, 256-576-4977. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We haven't picked up anything new accident-wise. Everything from earlier should be pretty well wrapped up. Heavy traffic load now. You be careful on that trip in. Put extra room in there so you got somewhere to go if something does go wrong around you. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Eck in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Danny, pass the potatoes, please.
Sure, Dad.
And the salt.
Here you go.
And the bucket.
I need the bucket.
The water is dripping in my food.
Honey, can we get the roof fixed now?
Don't wait until the damage is done to call a roofer. Call the experts at Yellowhammer Roofing and let them inspect your roof. Locally owned and operated, licensed and insured. Call 256-232-1933. That's 256-232-1933. YellowhammerRoofing.com.
If you work in a dangerous or logistically intense industry, you know good training can be a challenge. There are training costs, safety concerns, and difficulty replicating real-world scenarios. There's a better way used right now in the Army and in all our armed services to better prepare our heroes, and it's available to you in your organizations. Higher Echelon's Game Development Team is revolutionizing learning in military training, dangerous industry, STEM, and sports performance domains with cutting-edge virtual training that immerses you in lifelike scenarios without the cost and safety concerns for trainees. With Higher Echelon's game-based training, you'll experience realistic simulations, precision accuracy, and unparalleled safety. Higher Echelon founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and puts that experience to use. His team has been building cutting-edge virtual training environments for soldiers and clients for a decade. Higher Echelon, the name you can trust for advanced training solutions. Reach out at higherechelon.com to get your free consultation. Go higher and go Army.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Wow, there we go. Always love it when we get that. I have no idea who sings that. I have no idea. I don't even think they sing it. I think they just yell it. Anyway, 256-576-4977. Be a part of the program. Be a part of the show this morning. We've discussed everything. High school football, college football, and what restaurants would be on Triple D. What Huntsville
Don't forget
restaurants.
Bo's Best Wings.
Yeah, what Huntsville restaurant would you want Guy Fieri to stop at on a Friday?
Heck, we even had Coach Prime stop there.
We did.
Yeah.
I think our picture is up there with Coach Prime's picture, by the way.
Well, we took a picture.
Yeah, it's up there. I believe at least I was told our picture is up there at Bo's Best Wings. 256-576-4977.
One of the first families of Sparkman basketball there. The Lightford family.
Yeah, now what is it? I forget. He's going into his sophomore year.
The youngest Lightford is now going to take over the point guard duties from with Kalen, now playing on the college level. So it's a basketball family. They got a chance to have a special year, and he's going to be he was part of the I know they had the 205-256 media day yesterday, and he was going to be a representative for Sparkman, and I know they're counting on the Lightford family to continue carrying the torch for Sparkman Hoops and Jamie Coggins and David Hughes and those guys.
All right, you run down the SEC lineup for tomorrow, Ole Miss and LSU, and it just it gives us a chance just to have some fun day or some Friday fun with Coach O.
Any questions?
Coach, what are your thoughts on LSU at Ole Miss this week?
LSU and Ole Miss, man, what a great matchup. Great rivalry, especially at Ole Miss. Having coached at both schools, this game means a lot to Ole Miss, how much they'd love to beat LSU. I want to give you a great memory I have of being the head coach at Ole Miss. Obviously, playing LSU was a big game for us. It was a big game for me. It was my first game going back into Tiger Stadium as a head football coach. So I talked to the team on Monday. I said, guys, me being from Louisiana, I'm going to do you a favor. When we run out the tunnel, I'm going to get 100,000 screaming Tiger fans to cheer for you. They're like, no way, how's Coach going to do that? My coach was Coach O. I said, no, I got it, guys. I got a little stroke down there. I got it. We're waiting in the tunnel. The state troopers right there, and I'm supposed to run out before LSU. The state trooper said, Coach, you got to go. I ain't going. Coach, you got to go. I ain't going. And all of a sudden, here come the Tigers. They run out. We run at the same time. The Tigers started cheering for their team, and we running out. They see us, man. Our team went crazy. We were a 27-point underdog. We played those guys to overtime. What a great, great effort by our football team and our coaching staff. But for that, LSU at Ole Miss. Coach O's pick is going to be the LSU Fighting Tigers. Go roll back.
Go roll back.
Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Let's go out to the phone lines. Lewis is with us. Good morning, Lewis.
I guess Lewis like that.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
There you go.
I didn't expect that. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think LSU is going to win. But I wanted to know what you guys thought about the Mississippi State and Alabama game.
I picked Alabama 31-14.
Judging how Mississippi State looked playing against LSU, Alabama's defense looked a little more coordinated than LSU's. So, not questions there. But knowing how LSU's defense did against Mississippi State, shouldn't that give y'all some kind of hope that Alabama it should be Alabama's best game? What do y'all think?
Depends on the quarterback.
Well, LSU was able, we talked about it earlier in the week. LSU's defense gave Will Rogers his worst game as a college quarterback. They frustrated him with pressure. They confused him. The routes weren't there. The coverages were hard for him to throw into. They just did that. If Alabama's defense plays like that and Will Rogers has another bad game, then yeah, it's a 14.5-point spread. The over-under is 46.5 is the over-under. I think Alabama does cover on Saturday if the defense is able to frustrate Will Rogers like the LSU defense did.
Correct. I agree. Because they have a good quarterback, but it's just, hell, if you give him a chance to make something happen, he might make something happen. The same with any quarterback, shall I say. But I wanted y'all thoughts on that game because that's a really big game this weekend. As far as LSU and Ole Miss, I'm looking at Ole Miss and how they've been playing, and it just depends on what LSU team go out there for me. That depends on if the game is going to be close or if it's going to be a Mississippi State LSU win.
Look, LSU comes in, by the way, 2.5 point favorite.
I was going to say, it's been holding steady at 2.5 pretty much all week.
They're thinking points are going to be scored because they're saying 67 is the over-under in this one.
Yeah, because with my prediction, it would be under for as far as Alabama and then Mississippi State because, as Scott said, it's 46.5. But the LSU defense on the back end has struggled a little bit in the secondary. They got to score. They have been scoring. They've been more balanced with Diggs that now part of the running back rotation and Emory back. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Ole Miss team bounce back because they did not play well at all against Alabama.
You're right. I'll give you my outlook on this LSU game. LSU they have something to prove. And Jaden Daniels have to go out there and show that he's making these corrections with underthrowing these receivers. If he makes those corrections, it's going to be a blowout game. If they bring the pass rush like they did against Mississippi State, it's going to be a blowout game. Because then the secondary won't be so confused and lost and have to do all these crazy penalties and get burned, get toasted back there. If the pass rush is there, and if Jaden Daniels heard what his coaches have been saying about him underthrowing his receivers, we're going to blow them off the field. If not, it's going to be one of those Arkansas games, which I don't think is going to be compared to Arkansas because they're playing for the Golden Boot, so it's always different with Arkansas.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, just one of them close games, shall I say.
Lewis, thanks for the phone call.
Go roll back.
And he's right. We knew Arkansas was going to come in Saturday to Tiger Stadium. That one was going to be tough. Arkansas always plays LSU, and they always play Texas A&M the same way. There's just something about it. Those games, Texas A&M, Arkansas is this weekend. That one is going to be a tough one. Arkansas is a 6-point underdog against Texas A&M. Texas A&M, of course, not breaking in a new quarterback, but Max Johnson taking over as quarterback for Texas A&M there. All right, Florida, Kentucky's going to kick you off at 11 a.m. Kentucky a 1-point favorite at home against Florida. But we will talk more Alabama, Mississippi State coming up next.
Super Talk Mississippi's Brian Haydad going to join us.
All right, let's get a break in. 2 minutes.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Unlike other credit cards that decline sports betting transactions or treat them as a cash advance, the G-Bank Visa Signature Card can load directly to your favorite sportsbook apps. G.Bank/VSiN.
Thursday night football, the Lions beat the Packers 34-20. Big night on the ground for David Montgomery, 191 yards. He carried the ball 32 times for 3 touchdowns. 246 passing yards and a touchdown for Jordan Love in the loss. Detroit was favored by 2.5. They covered by 11.5. The total 54. The over at plus 9.5. Green Bay was at plus 160 on the money line with the Lions minus 190. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
We are back. It is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. It's hour 2 officially underway on a Friday. One more hour of our week. It's been 5 fun days. We're going to wrap it up, though. Tomorrow, 8 o'clock, you got to stay up a little bit past your bedtime. Alabama, Mississippi State. You sure you don't want to go to Starkville? I'm just asking one more time.
We got great ice cream, but I think I'm going to stay and watch from my couch here. It's a long trip there.
Just making sure. I just want to make sure that, if
it'd
you
be
still
it'd
don't
be
want to
7
go.
hours round trip.
All right. Alabama, Mississippi State tomorrow, 8 o'clock, 97.7 ESPN. The Zone will be your home for this ball game. You can download the app today. Have Alabama Crimson Tide in the palm of your hands tomorrow night. Alabama, it's 14.5-point favorite. Mississippi State, Zach Arnett and company. Is it safe to say still trying to figure things out?
Well, they're trying to, and they're going through the most difficult transition of anyone in the SEC when you lose Mike Leach and you're having to so dramatically change what you were doing offensively with Kevin Barbet and him coming in from Appalachian State. Because, Mike Leach was so unique in how he approached everything. Now, defensively, Matt Brock's taken over. They tried to continue some continuity on that side of the ball. They had a little bit of trouble with South Carolina last week. Certainly didn't play as well as they would have liked against LSU, but it's still a road game for Alabama. Jalen Miller has still never started a game on the road, so it's going to be very interesting because in the past, Mississippi State has given Alabama some trouble in Starkville, and we'll see if they can do that at 8 o'clock on Saturday night, and we're going to talk about that with the co-host of Super Talk Mississippi. He does a great job. We talked with him in Nashville at SEC Media Days, and that's Brian Haydad, and he's been kind enough to join us this morning on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk to Maroon and White of Mississippi State. Brian, welcome back to Huntsville. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
What's going on, guys? 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. It's just Mississippi State, Alabama. Let's do this.
Yeah, it's going to be cowbells everywhere. I've covered a night game at Mississippi State 2017. Alabama had to escape. Certainly Mississippi State played well enough to win in that game. I kind of felt like Dan Mullen kind of lost his nerve at the end of it. Should have won the game, did not. But we'll see what happens on Saturday. Is it safe to say they're still trying to find themselves right now?
Yeah, that's a very true statement because this is a team that just has not had an identity all season long. We talked about them offensively in the offseason. They were going to be more balanced. They were going to run the ball more. And then they were a little run heavy almost. They sort of neglected the passing game against Arizona. Then they come back against LSU and they kind of neglected the running game. Only 9 carries for Clavius Marks, who was the SEC leading rusher at that time. They were a little bit more, trying to be more balanced against South Carolina, but they didn't have success running the football. South Carolina really sold out to stop the run. Will Rogers had a great night, threw for almost 500 yards passing, but had a couple of key turnovers there. And then defensively, where this team's identity, even with the air raid, this team was more of a defensive team. They won games on defense. This defense is just not good. This is not the kind of Mississippi State defense people have been used to seeing for the past few years. They can't get to the quarterback, but they also aren't very good in coverage. If you're not good at those two things, I don't know exactly what you're going to do in the passing game. So this is a team definitely struggling to find itself, and then now they find themselves having to play Alabama, which is never a good place to be when you're not sure about what you are.
Will Rogers, though, is coming off his best career game against South Carolina. 487 yards through the air. Is that just was that just South Carolina's bad defense and Mississippi State having a good one, or have they kind of found something, a formula there through the passing game that they can carry over into Alabama?
I think a little bit of both is true. South Carolina was just committed to stopping the run. They came into that game saying, if Will Rogers can beat us with his arm, then that's what's going to happen. And he almost did it. He said 487 yards passing, puts the Dogs in good position, scored 30 points. I think if you had told me on Friday last week State was going to put 30 points on the board, I would have thought State was going to win the game. But defensively, they weren't able to do it. But at the same time, I think State, showed last week, one of the concerns with Rogers has been for the past couple of years, can he throw it vertically? Can he get the ball down the field? He never really showed that arm off in the offense, in the air raid offense. But last week he had 2 or 3, 4 long completions to his wide receivers. Tulu Griffin set a school receiving record with 256 yards on 7 catches. So, Alabama's secondary is very good, and Alabama's defensive line gives you, he's going to give State some fits in this. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to hit those deep passes, because I don't know how much time they'll have. But I do think that is something State can build off of. They can have some success in the vertical passing game. Maybe not so much this week, but after this week and going forward, they can be a team that they can strike deep.
And then with I know when we talked with you in Nashville, you were very high on the potential senior year of Tulu Griffin. I mean, what a game he had last week. 7 catches, 256, and a lot of those were the vertical type throws that we haven't seen out of Mississippi State in the last few years under Mike Leach.
Yeah, he's a dynamic player. He's State's best playmaker for sure. And I think, for State to have success, they got to force feed him, and that's kind of difficult to do sometimes with a wide receiver. But, they have used Tulu Griffin in the running game this year. He's got a couple of rushing touchdowns. They're going to have to find him, some carries to go with catches. And, of course, he's State's kick returner. I think State needs to be a little bit more aggressive in the kick return game. If the ball's 6, 7, 8 yards out of the end zone, obviously nothing you can do with it. But Tulu's letting everything go now. If it's just a yard deep in the end zone, I think he needs to take that ball out. He's a dynamic playmaker. He's averaged 32 yards per return for his career. Mm-hmm. So even if he takes it at the 1 and gets his career average, you're still past the 25. So I think that he needs to be more aggressive. State needs to be aggressive this week. We talk about underdogs playing with nothing to lose. That's how State really should approach this game. They have nothing to lose. Nobody expects them to win. So, why not let it all hang out and be as aggressive as you can?
And if they are a little bit more aggressive defensively, Alabama's offense, and we talked a lot about
work in progress.
Is still a work in progress themselves coming over to Starkville. First really true road game for Alabama this year. They come in, not true road game. Yeah, I guess you could say. They went to South Florida, but that was neutral site. So they come in there to Starkville. This Alabama offense isn't a juggernaut coming over there.
Right. Yeah, and the main thing that strikes me about Alabama is after all these years to watch Alabama not be elite on the offensive line is weird. There's just no other way to put it. This is a team that puts road graders out there, first-round draft choices, and this unit, for whatever reason, just hasn't clicked. Now, maybe Mississippi State's defense is going to be the cure for them because they've been really bad this year. But at the same time, maybe it's the other way around and State can find a way to take advantage of that. I definitely would want to put pressure on Jalen Milroe. But State has had trouble with mobile quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels and Spencer Rattler these past 2 weekends have just absolutely killed them. Daniels was 30 for 34 and had 60 yards rushing. Rattler was 18 of 20 and had, I think, 50 yards rushing. They each had a touchdown rushing. It's just been a rough go for State defensively. So it feels like something's going to give this week. Either Alabama's offense is really going to click or State's going to finally figure something out defensively.
Well, and then with Zach Arnett and Matt Brock taking over the defense, Zach's done such a great job the last few seasons and stayed loyal and that to Mike Leach. That's one of the big reasons he's the head coach now. With just the unfortunate and tragic situation that happened with Coach Leach. But what has been the issue defensively? Why has there been such a drop-off that we're not used to seeing? Because, as you said, even with Mike Leach and his offensive acumen, kind of the definition of this State program, or the defense kind of defined things under Zach Arnett when he came over from Navy. What's happened this year? What's been the key to the fall-off?
Well, I think, Drew, I think when we talked about it back in Nashville, I said the secondary was my concern.
Yeah.
You were replacing 4 starters. You're replacing a first-round draft pick in Emmanuel Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys just haven't stepped up. It's just as simple as that. And then I think we maybe undersold the loss of Tyrus Wheat, who was, not drafted last year, but he was State's best pass rusher. State just hasn't replaced him. And they just don't have anybody they can just trust to go and get after the quarterback. They're blitzing guys like Jet Johnson, who's outstanding linebacker, solid tackler, but when he's chasing down a guy like Jaden Daniels or Spencer Rattler, they have the athleticism advantage. So it's just been rough for State to try to find pass rush, so guys have time to throw, and then the guys in the secondary just haven't done a great job of coverage, and that's led to disaster. And there's just no other way around it. So if Milroe can be given time to throw this weekend, he's going to have open receivers because I just don't trust State to cover them.
Mm-hmm.
How has Zach Arnett, obviously, he's building for the future as well. He's trying to get through this year, trying to put something together, but how is the recruiting looking? How is everything going for the future for Zach Arnett?
Well, it's kind of interesting you say that, too, because, when you think about this team, so many seniors. I don't know that,
it's an experienced group, yeah.
Thinking about the future. They thought this was a year that they could possibly win big.
Right.
And it doesn't, what's interesting is my preseason prediction. I had State 2-3 at this point. I had them losing these 3 games, but then turning it around in the second half of the season. And when you look at the SEC, I think they can turn it around. Arkansas, A&M, Auburn, Ole Miss, none of these teams have been overly impressive the first few weeks. So there's a chance of that. As far as the future goes, I think State is on a decent path as far as recruiting. Ole Miss has gotten some headlines, obviously, this year, but for Mississippi State, they've made recruiting the state of Mississippi such a priority. I think this year, they might have just a pretty typical Mississippi State recruiting class, somewhere between 25 and 35 nationally. Next year, they're going to look to really lock down the state. And they've got some good inroads with some of the top 20, 25 prospects. So I feel good about them in the future, but at the same time, this was a year Mississippi State fans were hoping to get some wins. They're coming off of a 9-win season. You return all these seniors. You thought you would be better than you've been so far.
Well, they certainly could turn it around on Saturday. If they're going to upset Alabama, I know Woody Marks and Tulu are going to have to be a big part of it. Who's someone else that's going to have to step forward, maybe offensively? And, of course, they're going to have to find some pass rush against Jalen Milroe. Milroe has tended to hold on to the ball a little bit, and Alabama's pass protection, as you know, Brian, has been sketchy.
Yeah. Offensively, last week Justin Robinson had his best game as a Bulldog, 6 catches for 91 yards. He's the bigger receiver. Tulu and Xavier Thomas are more like slot receivers, shifty guys, speedy guys. Robinson's more of your prototypical NFL guy, 6'2", 6'3". And my guess is he'll be matched up with Kool-Aid. So, that's a very tough matchup for him. But if State can find him for a couple of plays, that would probably go a long way for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then defensively, this will be the first true road start for Jalen Milroe. He came off the bench against Arkansas, did a pretty good job last year, helped them hold on for that win and pull away in the fourth quarter. I know you said State struggled big time in the back end, but again, Alabama's passing game has been hit or miss. They've made big plays vertically, though. What is the key for State defensively?
You got to try to limit big plays because I don't think you can stop them. I don't think Alabama's going to hit a couple of big plays in this game. It's just, do they hit a couple or do they hit 4 or 5?
Right.
And if they hit 4 or 5, well, then it's game over. If they hit a couple, you can maybe survive that onslaught there. So, for State, you got to do that. And then, like I said, I think you've got to limit Milroe. You got to keep him in the pocket as much as you possibly can. As a runner, he's going to hurt you. State is, like I said, they've been burned by mobile quarterbacks 3 weeks in a row. I didn't mention Jaden Delore from Arizona a couple weeks ago. They've got to find a way to limit the quarterback's running game in this one if they have any chance to win.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, no question about it. And this will be an 8 o'clock game, a late kick, and I'm anxious to see how this Alabama team responds because again, State's going to be desperate. They've got to get an SEC win. They still want to salvage this season, and if they don't get this W, it makes it tough because the SEC schedule is just really, really difficult, no doubt about it. Well, Brian, man, you do a great job. You do an awesome job on Super Talk. Let everybody know how to connect with you guys' show.
Yeah, we're on 3 to 6, Super Talk Mississippi. That's a statewide radio network, anywhere from South Haven to Biloxi. If you're in Mississippi, you can find us. And we have an app. We have supertalk.fm as our website, or you can watch us on TV at Supertalk TV if you're a C Spire TV customer.
Yeah, Richard Cross, good friend as well, covering that Ole Miss side. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Interesting, was comments there from Brian, and it just makes you a little nervous, just because Tulu Griffin is very, capable,
right?
And then you got a senior quarterback in Will Rogers, who's seen a lot. You've got Woody Marks, who's a good running back. You got, as he mentioned, Robinson last week coming off a strong performance as receiver, and again. When you play a team at home who's desperate to get a win, who has nothing to lose, I just want to see how this Alabama team prepared. How does Jalen Milroe respond to a road environment and a tough environment? Jalen Hurts in 2017, he got off to a slow start, but as he's apt to do, he steadied himself and rallied the team and threw a touchdown pass to Devontae Smith to win the game. And all that matters is he rallied the team and won when he had a chance to. Is it going to go down to the wire where Milroe has to make plays, or can Alabama limit turnovers, limit mistakes and penalties, and can they control this game and win it and be ahead comfortably in the fourth quarter? If they're not ahead comfortably in the fourth quarter, things could get dicey.
All right, let's get a break in. More Talking Ball when we return. We actually had college football last night, local college football. We'll let you know who played and who got the win.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck just reported on the Parkway northbound between Airport and Drake. Sounds like it's on the main lanes, but there's no report of injury. Had an injury reported in a single vehicle on Dunlop near Clipper. That's right around the railroad tracks. Adding to your staff or needing a temp? Snelling specializes in admin, accounting, and business support personnel. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Do you want your next party to be something you'll remember? Then head on down to Flosa Premier to book your next big bash. Birthday, corporate meeting, maybe just a family reunion so you can get your cousin Kyle back into the basketball court so you can beat him at basketball. I don't have no idea. Flow is fun for all ages looking for high-flying excitement, arcade fun, and tasty snacks to satisfy your hunger. Whether you have 10 friends or 25, Flow is jam-packed with something fun for everyone. Get jumping with Flow off South Parkway in Drake or head over to flowhuntsville.com to book your next party now.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center.
I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Tonight you're going to get a plethora of high school football, a smorgasbord, if you will. Tomorrow you get a plentiful lineup of college football. Not as rich as this past Saturday.
But some good matchups.
Yes, there is some intriguing matchups. We also had college football last night, and it drew the interest of the state of Alabama because Jacksonville State, Rich Rodriguez, traveled to take on Sam Houston. And in overtime, here you go.
14 and white. He's in the slot toward the bottom of your screen. That was the game-time score. He looks to throw here, 2nd down and 9. Floats it, end zone, touchdown. Sean Brown all alone for a 24-yard score.
Jacksonville State's Sean Brown takes in the Logan Smothers touchdown pass. Remember Logan Smothers?
Oh, yeah, transferred. He played at Athens and Muscle Shoals, and was at Nebraska.
Yep.
He left the Cornhuskers, and now he's been at least splitting time, playing quite a bit for Jacksonville State.
I think he took over the starting role because of an injury. So
yeah,
I think he's now the starting quarterback there for Jacksonville State. But Jacksonville State goes on the road last night. They get a 35-28 overtime win over Sam Houston. So, by the way, Jacksonville State now has 3 wins.
Nice job by
They
Rich
need
Rod.
3 more. I believe, can they be bowl eligible this year?
I mean,
if they get to 6, can Jacksonville State be bowl eligible?
In Conference USA, I mean, I didn't think there was a probationary period. I would think they would be bowl eligible this year. I mean, look, I know they have that kind of eligibility deal for the playoffs and FCS competition.
Right.
I would think now that they're a member
my bad, they're
of Conference
4-1.
So that's what I'm saying. So if this is their first year in Conference USA, I would think that they're bowl eligible.
So they have Middle Tennessee coming up the 4th of October.
That'll be a tough one.
And then they have Liberty.
Tough.
Western Kentucky.
Those are 3 good teams.
Florida International, South Carolina, Louisiana Tech, and then they wrap up the year at New Mexico State.
Well, we know they can beat New Mexico State. I'd say they have a good chance to go beat the Ponchos.
So that is that's the remaining games for Jacksonville State. I believe they just need 2 wins to become bowl eligible, which would be the first time in school history that Jacksonville State.
In the first year.
Yeah, first year in Conference USA.
Now, because remember, they weren't eligible for the playoffs last year in the 1AA because they were leaving to go to Conference USA.
Right, and their roster size was a little bit bigger. They had a little bit more players, and so the ASUN Conference said, you know what, sorry, you can't go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I did the Democrat thing.
256-576-4977. What's the 256-576-4977?
Yeah.
Forgot the phone number there for a minute.
Well, we had 5 of them at one time. So it was hard there
We
for a while.
still do.
Yeah.
We got 256-382-0724.
That's the office number,
Which,
everybody.
by the way, you can still call and be a part of the show if you want to.
Yeah.
And then we have a 1-800 number.
We used to. That's probably the Czar's house by now.
I don't even know what that number was.
I can't remember.
One.
Like I said, it's the Czar's hotline probably.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably where he places all his bets.
Is that the
that's what he had on the Unleashed today. He was talking about his
bookie
his
line?
plays, man.
Oh,
I mean, hey, you know.
I know.
There you go.
Well, if you want to make some bets, here's some teams you may want to stay away from.
There you go.
Number 10, Utah is at number 19, Oregon State tonight.
DJ
8 o'clock.
Uiagalelei.
Yeah, but he is transgressed. He got off to a hot start there with Oregon State. You want to know his numbers in his last 2 games?
I can't wait to hear this.
48.4 completion percentage rate, 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
I'm sorry. He looks like Tarzan and he plays like Jane. He's just not that good. Never has been.
But they're Oregon State, I don't know. Okay, so then you got number 8 USC at Colorado on Saturday.
Coach Prime, he's a 21.5 point underdog at home.
Oregon State, by the way, is a 3.5 point favorite at home against Utah.
I would probably go ahead and take the points with that Colorado game because I think USC's atrocious defensively, and I think USC will still
You
win.
think Colorado will put up points?
Yep. Yeah, against USC. I mean, I could put up points against USC.
You just do not like USC.
They can't tackle. I mean, we're talking about what we were talking about going into the game last week. Arizona State had lost 29-0 to Fresno. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a close game in the fourth quarter, and I don't even think that Arizona State had their starting quarterback.
Texas is a 16.5 point favorite at home against number 24 Kansas on Saturday.
Not basketball.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Lance Leopold, man.
Arkansas, Texas A&M. Texas A&M, 6.5 point favorite. You got Georgia and Auburn. Georgia still a 14.5 point favorite on the road at Auburn. LSU is a 2.5 point favorite against Ole Miss.
It was 42-28. USC beat Arizona State last week.
And Jaden Moneybags Rashada,
I don't even think
one.
he played in the game.
I think he was. I think
he's
they
probably
went
waiting
with
for
a
his
new
check.
direction. He just
He
comes in
didn't play.
and has a check in the locker.
Former Notre Dame quarterback Drew Pine threw for 221 yards, and then some dude named Scatbo came in. Cameron Skatebo, whatever the hell. He was 2 out of 3 and for 42 yards. He even threw for yards against that sorry-ass defense that USC puts out there.
So you think Colorado will put up points?
Oh,
on
I
Saturday?
think they'll put a point. I'm not sure they'll win. It'd probably be a similar game to what that Colorado, for the Arizona State and USC game was.
All right. Does Mississippi State revisit 1980? If Mississippi State got a win over Alabama tomorrow, would that?
It would be the end of Jalen Milroe. Goodbye.
Would Bricks. Would that equal the Bulldogs' greatest upset in the series in 1980? Would that equal the greatest?
I mean, they haven't won since, Sylvester Croom was coaching in 2007 in Saban's first year. And at that time, they were controlling the series because he and Jackie Sherrill had success against Alabama because of the Dubose error. And then also because of Shula and Franchione, I was only there 2 years, so you can't really talk about that. But still, Alabama, during that 7, 8, 9, 10-year period, Mississippi State had their most success in the series, and were winning quite a bit. But Saban's dominated it. But yeah, I mean, it would be huge because Saban was still kind of setting the stage in 2007, and Alabama was controlling that game in Starkville. But a pick six at the end of the first half flipped the script, and they ended up winning the game. But then Alabama, since that time, has dominated it. But yeah, it would be huge, and to me, it would be the end of the Jalen Milroe era because if you're out of contention in the SEC, it's time to play the young cats. It's time to play Ty Simpson. It's time to, and I hear Dylan Lonergan's getting more and more reps. It's time to play the other guys because, again, he's had his opportunity, and if you can't beat Mississippi State, what the hell are you going to do later in the schedule when you got to play the LSUs and the Auburns and, and the Tennessees and the Texas A&M? So you better win this game. You better play well. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to have any excuses, and there better be a good performance. Period. End of story. No more suspensions. Get your head out of your butt and play good football.
Mike is with us this morning. Good morning, Mike.
Hello, fellas. How's it going?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Drew, I assume you watched the Clay Chalk Bowl in Thompson game last night?
I saw some of the highlights. I was doing the Huntsville Mae Jemison game as our game of the week, and of course the Panthers got a big win, 53-25. Bandy and I were calling that game, but I was keeping up with it, and I know Mbakwe had a huge game. We were talking about it to lead off the show.
Yes, I mainly tuned in to watch Seaborn, but I was impressed with, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name. You are safety. Where do you think that Seaborn is at this point in his very young career compared to where Tua was at the same point in time?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I think Seaborn's got a chance to be special. I mean, he's only a ninth grader. He helped direct him to the 4th straight state championship as an 8th grader last year. He came over from the state of Colorado. I think he was his family knew the Tungavailoas very well. He's certainly a kid that's got a chance to be really, really good. Hard to believe, but you got him for 3 more years. So, and he did some really good things last night. But Clay Chalkville's got as much ability with Mario Craver. They got some studs on defense. Drew Gilmer. They've got tons of athletes over there at Clay Chalkville. They're one of the few teams athletically that can compete with Thompson and what they've got going on over there. But yeah, Seaborn's got a chance to be really, really good, no doubt, especially being that young and that advanced. And he played well last night. It's just Mbakwe wouldn't let his team lose. And again, this has happened to Thompson in the regular season before. They'll bounce back, and they're always a tough out in the playoffs. And last year they stabilized themselves because they had some quarterback instability, kind of like Alabama did. But Seaborn took over in the playoffs starting against Huntsville High, and they went on that 4-game run to win it all. And now we'll see, is Milroe going to be the dude the rest of the year for Alabama, or are we going to see a guy like either Ty Simpson or potentially even Dylan Lonergan get a shot?
Well, my honest opinion, from what I saw back in spring practice and then in fall, all things being equal, of the quarterbacks that are down there, the one I'd have thrown into the breach and just ridden good or bad was Lonergan. He just seems to have that pocket presence about him and a calmness in him, and he's got as good an arm as any of them down there. But I'm not Saban, so my hope is that Milroe continues to get better and we have success with him, because that means good things. But if he still struggles or reverts to the Milroe post or pre-Ole Miss game, then we probably need to make a change, like you said, with a younger guy and go with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to depend on – he's got to keep progressing. He's got to get better at the zone read, more adept at it, at pulling and then handing off. And he's got to be willing to run, use his athletic ability because he's such a great athlete, and then just keep getting more comfortable as a passer. Throwing the ball on time, continuing to hit the deep ball because he's shown a propensity to be able to do that. And honestly, when you look at his passing numbers, they've been pretty good. He had the only problem is he's had 3 horrendous interceptions, but his completion percentage is pretty good. He's been able to make some big plays. He just has to limit the mistakes and be willing to use his legs and help the offensive line out, because I think still, at least close to a half dozen of those sacks are for holding the ball too long.
Well, I think hopefully what will pay dividends is where he took that shot, that he completed the pass to Jalen in the end zone. That just seemed to really light a fire, and hopefully that gets his confidence up. And I'm glad. The biggest thing that I was happy with was that they did some design runs from him. I mean, obviously his forte is, taking off with the football. Doesn't mean you want him to take off every time, but enough to keep the defense honest where they can't, cheat, on our receivers. They have to respect, that he may flush out of the pocket at any given time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Mike, thanks for the phone call. Mike. Yeah, good stuff there. Got to get a break in because when we come back, Bob Godsey, Masson Academy head coach, going to join us as we talk a little Mustang football.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. It is going to be a warm Friday across all of North Alabama, southern and middle Tennessee. Temperatures have no problem climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. We're dropping into the mid and upper 60s as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning. It is going to be unbelievably warm when you consider the fact that we are into the final days of September, but it is still going to be a beautiful weekend. A mostly sunny sky. Temperatures once again have no problems climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s, dropping into the mid 60s overnight. Much the same for your Sunday. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures hanging out in the low 90s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got a new accident. This one's 431, an old 431, reported westbound east of the intersection. That one is coming in with injuries. Dunlop and Clipper Lane reported with an injury. And we had one on the Parkway northbound between Airport and Drake that came in as a no injury. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue can help you keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
Your roof is the first line of defense for your home. Do you have water stains on your ceiling, paint peeling off your walls, shingles missing? It's probably time for you to get your free roof inspection. Locally owned and operated, licensed, and insured, Yellowhammer Roofing is the Yellowhammer State hometown team. Yellowhammer Roofing, let our family protect what's most important to you, your family. 256-232-1933 or online at yellowhammerroofing.com.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Last week, did we get to do this? They weren't off. Yes, they were off.
They beat Danville. They had their week off the week 2 weeks ago.
That's right. It was 2 weeks ago we didn't get to do this.
2 weeks ago they had to heal up. They had to get some
again.
guys. They had some offensive linemen out against J.B. Pennington. They had
right.
Polilak, their quarterback, got a little banged up his hand. They showed a lot of toughness in that 26-21 home win over J.B. Pennington, who came in with a really good offensive plan. They were able to, they were able to heal up. And then last week they got back at it in 4A Region 8 play, and they went on the road and they won 62-13. And the AL.com Player of the Week is Jacob Polilak, the transfer quarterback who's come to Madison Academy as a senior and stabilized this team. He threw 4 touchdown passes on the road last week and got a big win, and we're going to discuss that and more with fifth-year head football coach Bob Godsey, who's joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, Scott.
Yeah, of course, today's interview brought to you by Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, a proud sponsor of Madison Academy football. They invite you to visit their Saturday sports clinic for all those sports-related injuries each Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. 4715 Whitesburg Drive. It's the Sportsmed Saturday Sports Clinic.
Absolutely. And, Coach, good morning, and congratulations on the road win. I know you wanted your team to start fast, and they certainly did last week, Coach.
Good morning to you guys. Yes, it's always good to get off to a hot start and, play a pretty clean game. I was just, pleased with our guys. It's good to be fairly healthy, and just get back out on the field. We had a good week off, and it was good to get back into some competition.
Well, Coach, when you get off to a fast start like that, and things seem to be rolling well, and whatever you're calling offensively just seems to flow very well, how hard is it to kind of just stay as a coach, just kind of stay the game plan and not just kind of, just start throwing things out there to see if it works, but just to stay the course and calling the plays and everything else like that?
Well, you just when you get off to a hot start, I think everybody, plays with a lot more confidence, which obviously makes things a little simpler. So when everybody's relaxed a little bit and playing with confidence, and let's face it, you have those nights where nothing goes right. You really got to battle it, grind it, figure it out. And just show some toughness to get through things. And I think we did that, somewhat, a couple of weeks before against J.B. Pennington. And then you have those nights where it seems like things really seem to click and everything is, working like it needs to. So, we kind of saw, both ends of the spectrum there in our last two games.
Well, hey, Coach, I know you mentioned to us going into the off week that Podolak had kind of banged up his hand a little bit, but obviously he came out of the bye week. He got some time off. But I think it also probably helped show some toughness to get back out there, get in the lineup, play well. And it's big because he's new to your program, even though he's a senior. So the guys are still getting comfortable with him. I know you've been coaching him and kind of trying to mold him to be a leader of this offense. And I know he's a little bit of a different personality than Carson Crean, but are you happy with the growth that he showed last week?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, since he got here in January, with the whole, really their whole family, and they've just, really bought in and have gone out of, Jake has gone out of his way to fit in and to has done everything, checked every box from, we were meeting in the mornings before school, after school, things like that. I mean, it's been, he's done everything that, he could do to learn this offense. And, basically he's been at every function that the school has had, to show his support and try to earn, as you said, that, that respect and that, leadership, level, as well as just getting to know, people and letting people get to know him. And he's just done a really good job of that. He's been a good fit for us here. I think he's getting better, each week, getting more comfortable. We try to challenge him in practice and things like that to help him, in the games. And we certainly, just need him to continue to grow.
Coach, you mentioned you got some guys back last Friday. Are we all good now? I mean, are you getting everybody back to where you want them to be this point in the season?
We're still minus, we'll have, we're still minus three guys, three, potential starter, two starters, and then a third potential one. We're still minus DeMarcus Peebles, who was a starter defensive end and offensive line for us. He's going to be out another, probably at least 6 weeks with a broken arm. Michael Wiggins is still, nursing a broken foot, and hope to have him back here in a couple of weeks. And then, unfortunately, Chase Taylor is a sophomore offensive line that was really, really improving and getting better, and he was kind of like our first, backup, and with DeMarcus out would be a starter now probably, but he has had some complications, heart complications, and so unfortunately he'll be won't be able to participate for the rest of this year.
Well, we pray for him, no doubt, and that's something that is just out of anyone's control, and hopefully the good Lord will heal him. But Coach, I know when you're playing in a game like you did last week, when you play so well, you get a chance to play a lot of guys and develop them, and that also helps in practice because guys get excited, they get on the field, and I know it helps develop depth in your program for later on in the year that could be valuable when you get a couple of these guys back you just mentioned.
Well, exactly. I mean, right now you're looking, down the roster to see as people get banged up and that type thing to see who, could be ready. What sophomore maybe could be ready to help you in the playoffs and things like that. And being able to play those guys on Friday night, we've been able to play 3 JV games, and so these guys have had a lot of action. And sometimes with our numbers, we don't get that to be able to play those JV games, or depending on the schedule and things like that, they don't get as much. But we've been able to get these guys involved, and that just makes things go. These guys are confident. Obviously they want they're practicing harder because they may get a chance to play. So we've had some guys. Danny McCauley's a sophomore that is really growing and had a big touchdown run the other night. But defensively, he's really helped us at outside linebacker with Michael being out at safety. We've had to move Keaton Watson from our dog, what we call dog position, back to safety. So Danny and Caleb Williams have moved into that dog spot and played pretty well the other night. Barrett Kennedy is another young sophomore that is kind of our fourth linebacker, and it's been very, very important when Ken Cherry is rushing for 200 yards a game and then going and playing linebacker. We need somebody to fill in there, and he just continues to grow and to get better in that slot. And then we got a young little freshman here, Slade Glover. It's not big as a minute, but has given us valuable minutes up front. Knows what to do, competes, gets slung around and run over sometimes just because he's just not quite big enough yet. But never backs away, never shies away, and kind of understands his role and has played valuable minutes for us in the last 2 games.
Yeah. Well, Coach, now you got to try to build on that fast start last week. Try to make it 2 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. You got Madison County at home tonight. What do you see on film? What do you got to do to get off to that fast start 2 weeks in a row?
Well, like always, we really just try to we try to handle ourselves, and that we really kind of preach and we're the guys that we can try to control what we can control, which is how well we prepare, how well we play, and so we want to play a clean game each week. We just want to continue to grow, we want to continue to get better. Madison County, Madison Academy, I think the overall record is 15-15, so it's a rivalry game, and been a lot of really good games just in the 5 years I've been here, and so they certainly have some guys that make life difficult for you that can go the distance at any point. They have some big guys up front that can cause you problems as well. So but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to be successful.
Well, and Coach, I know you have a lot of respect for Matt Putnam. I mean, he was been at Hazel Green, at his alma mater at Sylvania for several years, and we know you faced those guys in the playoffs a year ago, and now he's come to Madison County. And they've, as you said, they've always got some athletes over there that can make them dangerous.
They certainly have, and I knew Matt mostly from Hazel Green days, competing with him when I was at Hartsville, and we were in the same region, I believe, we're definitely on the schedule, but does a good job over there, and we're excited, chance to play, have them at our place. It seems like the 5 years I've been here, we've played out there. It seems like every year. So to be able to play them at home one time is going to be fun.
Well, no doubt, and we hope to hear a fast start when we're listening tonight on 97.7 The Zone. Glenn Laird, Steve Moulton on the call as the Mustangs hope to continue this undefeated run and get another big, 3A Region 7 win. Coach, we always appreciate the time. Go Mustangs, and thank you for talking a little football with us this morning.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you for what you do for high school football.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach. Of course, that interview brought to you by our very good friends over at SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience that SportsMed difference. Well, SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives.
That was almost as good as the Woody Harrison Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show, powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission.
Yes! Let's get a break.
We finally got it right.
Oh, it took us 3 years.
Yeah.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Wrapping up with several accidents trying to clear. Our newest one was 431, an old 431. That one reported east of the intersection with westbound blockage. They did report an injury. Had one at Dunlop and Clipper Lane near the railroad tracks. That one reported injury. And Parkway northbound between Airport and Drake should be moved to a parking lot pretty quick. You get 2 pieces of hand-breaded, juicy, tender signature chicken and a buttermilk biscuit for $4.99 at Popeyes. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Billy, your gas light's on. We need to stop and fill up.
No way, Jen. Gas around here is too expensive. We can make it a little further.
Billy, listen to your big sister. You don't need to drive all over searching for the lowest gas prices. Do what I do and use Upside.
Upside?
Do you live under a rock, Billy? Upside is the hottest cashback app out there. It's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway?
Yes, I'm looking at the Upside app now, and there's a gas station at the next exit offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Okay, I'm stopping to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRIEND to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRIEND for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Do you have discomfort in your legs? Varicose veins can affect not only how your legs look, but how they feel. Symptoms of varicose veins include pain, swelling, aching, heaviness, and fatigue. Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville can diagnose and treat your varicose veins with the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Call 256-715-7151 to schedule your free screening. Go to bestveincarehuntsville.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Tired of the same old menu options everywhere you go? Then you need to try Metro Diner in Huntsville and Madison. The award-winning Metro Diner serves up signature dishes like their Charleston shrimp and grits, famous fried chicken and waffles with strawberry butter, and lots more. Their entire menu is available anytime, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And stop by for brunch on Saturday or Sunday and enjoy the lowest price mimosas in town. Airport Road, Huntsville, and Highway 72 in Madison. In diner or at home, make it Metro Diner.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your tomorrow's headlines today has to start with high school football because that will be the headline tonight. We invite you to join in, listen to the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission coming up your way after the conclusion of tonight's Buckhorn-Gunnersville game, which will be played on the lake in Gunnersville.
And he didn't read that, by the way. He just said that really, really fast.
Anyway, I did not read that. I just said that. But anyway, there's a lot of high school football. The moral of the story is there's a lot of high school football going on tonight. That's just one of the games. You got Madison Academy, Madison County, which we talked a lot about with Bob Godsey in the segment before. But you look around, I know it's non-region play. And there's a lot of teams that took their bye weeks this week. But there's still a lot of great games. Madison City School Stadium has a phenomenal one. Hartselle has a phenomenal one tonight.
Yeah, we do. And we're going to talk to Jimmy Lay of Vail.com about that. And, Jimmy, I got to tell you, I know you're chasing some games, but I'm going to go out to Madison City School Stadium. I want to see Muscle Shoals and James Clemens. I think it's going to be a heck of a matchup.
Yeah, we'll have somebody there covering that for AL.com tonight. The games that I'll be chasing is the Hartselle-Oxford game.
Yeah, Scott was talking about that one, yep.
Number 6 versus number 8, Madison Academy and Madison County. I look for Madison Academy to roll in that one. Then you got 5A number 9 Gunnersville trying to stay unbeaten against 6A Buckhorn.
Mm-hmm.
And Gunnersville's having a really good season, so they'll try to stay unbeaten in that. And, of course, I'll be at Westminster tonight covering the Wildcats versus the Wildcats of Central Florence.
Team of the week.
Brandon Mush watch is he – is in
Keeps
5th place
up
now in all total yards. He needs 340 yards to move into 4th. He needs 7 touchdowns to tie for 4th in touchdowns. So Brandon is moving on up. But you know what? He when he plays that well, that's what moves the meter for the Wildcats and for Westminster and Louis LeBlanc. And so hopefully they'll keep that going. You know, last year they had a crazy game where they were down by like 30 points, came back in the 4th quarter, took the lead with 30 seconds left, and then gave up a tip ball in the end zone to lose it right at the end of the game. Hopefully it won't come down to that tonight, and they'll be able to get that win. But, yeah, these non-region games are important because if you tie at the end of the season
with
another team, one of the tiebreakers comes down to what you did in the non-region games. So these games are really, really important.
Well, and then you mentioned the Hartselle game. Hartselle lost their starting quarterback last week at the start of their game, and now they're going into this Oxford one with a backup quarterback
against an undefeated Oxford team.
Yeah.
Well, they got Noah Lee. He's a great athlete, and their offense will probably look a little bit different. And so I'm not sure that the coach wanted to let that out of the bag so quickly. For Hartselle to be able to, for Oxford to prepare.
Yeah.
So they'll be preparing for a little bit different kind of offense. But one quick word about last night, Huntsville and May Jemison. Man, I was so impressed with Darian Taylor from Jemison.
Yeah, what a brother running back.
192 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 135 in the first half, but in the second half, Huntsville's defense stepped up and they were able to shut him out.
Yeah, Jackson McClung played well. Appreciate it, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Jimmy Leif, Mail.com. You'll hear him tonight on the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show powered by, God dang it! We're just going to leave the Friday.
Powered by the Huntsville Sports Commission.
Botched it up. Oh, we'll be back at it tonight, whenever, tomorrow.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold-certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman